Today we're going to be talking about AI. Not AI that does all the cool pictures and stuff, although there are some pretty cool ones out there. We're particularly going to be talking about the new Google Bard, or what Bing is doing, these chat type AIs, and how it could potentially help you with your lawn care, or can it? The reason this came up is because I got a message from a viewer, longtime viewer, person that I communicate with on a regular basis, who brought this to my attention, and I'd never even looked into it before. But his question was this. Hold on. I'll put it over here so you can see it. He said, why isn't this thing working? There we go. Okay, so he said, why are all these people selling lawn plans if you can just punch something into one of these AI systems and get a plan laid out for you? Well, let's dive into what that plan looked like first, and then we can kind of go from there. This is the general layout of what happened. This is how everything kind of came into play, and now I did this on Bing, and he sent me this on the Google Bard, which I am on the wait list for. So it's kind of interesting, but I think we should go through each step one by one and see if we can sort of expand on each one of those. Because while it is pretty cool, it seems to be missing a lot of information. Okay, so here's what we've got. Step 1, choose the right grass seed. Yeah, obviously that's going to be vital, but there's nothing in here that says what the right grass seed is. And I think one of the most important things about this is, if you guys are on YouTube and you're looking at people, following along with different people, it is honestly good to fill your bucket with the people who have a similar lawn or a similar growing zone or in a similar area as you. Here I've got 3 different types of turf grass out there. I've got bluegrass, Kentucky blue, I've got ryegrass, and I've got bent grass on the green as well. 3 different cool season grasses. Should I be the warm season grass expert? Absolutely not. You know, everything that Alan is growing down south and what Pete is doing in the transition zone, these are kind of good places where you can figure things out really easily and get a good mix across the board. And they are going to be the ones who can tell you what type of seed to choose and what's going to be best for your situation. While that is a great tip, choose the right grass seed, you're going to need a little bit more information from other people. So let's go into the big number 2. Number 2, prepare the soil properly. Now this is what it says. Plant the grass seed. Hold on, let me move a little bit. I think it'd be better to just put this right here. There it is. Plant the grass seed according to the package directions. Be sure to water the grass seed regularly after planting. That's great, yes. You should always read the label and you should do that. And depending on where you are, is going to depend on how much water needs to go out there on the ground. Now, when I grew in my bent grass green, I needed to water that like a lot. That thing was running on 2 minutes per station, about 12 times a day to get that thing to grow in. Is that actually a lot of water? No, not really, but the whole concept was I needed to keep that seed just moist all the time, especially because it was sitting in sand. But yes, plant the grass seed. Number 3, mow the lawn regularly. That's a great tip. Thank you for that. I have a robo mower. It mows 7 days a week. I have that thing programmed to mow about 14 to 16 hours a day. For most people, that's not going to be the case. For the average person, 1 time a week, maybe Saturday morning, and they hate doing it. For people who are a little bit more committed, 2, 3 times a week, maybe. For real mowers, every single day. Mowing the lawn regularly is one of the best things you could ever do for a lawn, but how much is regularly? It doesn't really say. You're gonna need to have somebody, a human being, giving you the exact right tips on something like that. Could this actually go further? Probably so, but I just wanna say, when you're talking about having a lawn plan or having somebody who's actually giving, maybe they're selling a lawn plan, maybe they're giving a lawn plan, they're going to be way more detailed than something like this. Even though this is very cool, it's pretty fun to look at, it's just not quite gonna be there. What about this? Water the lawn regularly. Now, on another one I looked up, it said water 1 inch per week, and that included rainfall is what it said. That's probably not gonna work for most places. 1.5 inches for a lot of people, peak of summer up to 2 inches, it's going to require more than that. You can't just go off a generic recommendation like that. So it's something to keep in mind. But what this says right here, water the lawn deeply and infrequently. We all hear that all the time. This will help encourage the roots to grow deep and strong. Yes, absolutely. Infrequent and deep watering, very important. But how do you do that? Great, you need a human to tell you how to do that. Maybe that's something we'll get into in a later video. How about this? Fertilize the lawn regularly. What does that even mean? Now, again, in another one that I looked up for cool season grass, the recommendation from the AI was 1 to 2 pounds per year. I think that's just fine. For most people, that's great. There's a few ways that you can fertilize the lawn regularly. You could be a person who does it on the daily with an injection system. Is he going to be talking about injection systems soon? I'm pretty sure he is. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so great. Yes, it is. That's coming. There are plenty of people who spoon feed, do it once a week. There are people who feed once a year. There are people who feed twice a year, 4 times a year, 6 times a year, 9 times a year. It's kind of all over the place. And honestly, fertilizing the lawn is gonna come down to personal preference. How green do you want it? How fast do you want it to be growing? How thick do you want it to get? You can essentially fertilize until you get it to where you want it to be. Just don't be dumping it all down at once. That's wasteful and it doesn't make any sense. Take your time, build up your lawn, fertilize it as it looks like it's hungry. But, you know, that's something on here. What about weed the lawn regularly? Weed the lawn regularly. That's another good one. Weeds can compete with the grass for water and nutrients, so it's important to remove them regularly. Okay, yeah, sure. If you have weeds in the lawn, get rid of your weeds in the lawn. And as your lawn gets stronger, you're gonna have less weeds. And as you mow more often, you're gonna have less weeds. The more you mow, the better it is. The more you mow. Keep the lawn clean. Now this is an interesting one. Keep the lawn clean. Okay. Pick up any debris such as leaves, twigs that may fall on the lawn. This will help to prevent them from becoming a nuisance or a breeding ground for pests. Now another one that seemed to come up on here was grub control. Make sure that you're doing grub control. Now again, if this was just something that you're just punching in there and you're gonna see that, great. Now grubs, is it potential for me to get grubs here in the mountains? Probably not. Are there other places that probably aren't going to get them all that often? Probably so. Does everybody need to be putting down a GrubX application? Probably not. Does everybody need to be putting down insecticide all the time? Definitely not. There's things like that that are, while they are important, and you should just be making sure that if you're mowing, you're fertilizing, you're watering, you're getting rid of your weeds, you're gonna have less possibility, not elimination, of potential pests and intruders. I sometimes worry that people are going to lose too much human touch and they're not going to be able to do exactly what they need to do because they're going to be told by a machine what they think is the best option, when if you put a lawnmower into the AI, you come up with something like this. Oh, but what if we made a superhero riding a lawnmower? What if we made him riding a lawnmower in space? What if it were a giant monkey mowing the lawn? There's a lot of room for technology to improve, and I know that it's going to keep doing it and it's going to keep changing the way that we do things in lawn care. But for now, find the people that you think are going to give you the best advice, that are going to guide you along in your journey as you're creating your perfect lawn space. What would that look like? And even though I'm still trying to get to that point of having like fully automatic lawn care, you know what? You should just watch this video right here. This one. Go ahead and watch that. That'll tell you all about it.